Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I'm so excited to be back with all of you for another episode of the podcast. Today, we have an interview, Zoom interview, of course, and it's with Mr. Lucas Parker. Welcome, Mr. Lucas.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to speak with you, and I'm sure you have a lot of great questions. So I'm always ready to, see what we can get to and, explore, so I'm really excited.
Let's dive in, my friend. So before we dive in, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the bands and artists that we feature, like Mr. Parker here. Also,
Absolutely.
check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters. That's RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear RAR. So, Mr. Lucas, it is a Wednesday night. How are you feeling on this hump night?
Oh, I'm ready for the 3-day weekend. I don't know about you, but it's been quite the past couple weeks at work and stuff. So, yeah, this 3-day weekend will be really nice. A little kick back and get a little refresh before, bouncing back into a couple of things. And yeah, really excited to get this 3-day weekend rolling. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I hear you, man. We're heading to the beach this weekend, so it's about like a 3-hour trip for us. I'm in Pennsylvania, so
Oh, okay.
uh,
There you
yeah,
go.
it's much needed. I usually
Nice.
try and get down more than this weekend, so
Yeah.
it'll be
So
fun.
where in Pennsylvania are you located?
Um, I'm about an hour and a half west of Philadelphia. I'm about an hour and 20 minutes north of Baltimore. I'm about 2 hours north of Washington, D.C., and I'm
Okay.
about 2.5 hours from New York City. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah, you're kind of in the middle of
amazing.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah, culture, concert venues, even like airports. Like I
Yeah.
have a nice
Oh,
selection of airports.
yeah.
So let's talk about you were born and raised in Des Moines, Iowa, far away
Yes.
from where?
Uh,
Pennsylvania.
yeah. So actually, I was born in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, which is like 2 hours east of Des Moines.
Okay.
But yes, born and raised Iowan. So gotta love the state of Iowa. Repping Iowa heavy today. So
So Cedar Rapids, talk about the town, talk about like your childhood, talk about growing up.
yeah. So Cedar Rapids is like the second biggest city in Iowa. I would say it's about 200,000 people. If you include like the whole metropolitan, obviously it's a lot more than that. But you still get like the city vibes, but also you also get the country vibes on the outside as well. So you really still get kind of the small town feel, but at the same time you still get like the bigger city feel. I would say Cedar Rapids is a very Midwest city in a lot of ways in terms of demographics and all those different types of areas. So Cedar Rapids, it's a great place to grow up. I think it was a great place. Personally, I think it's a great place to raise a family and have kids and stuff like that. Um, Besides that, I mean, there's not too much going on in Cedar Rapids in terms of activity and those type of things. But I overall it was a great Midwest city to grow up in, and um, overall, yeah, it was a great experience overall. I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed it growing up. But yeah, currently in Des Moines now, and obviously Des Moines is a little bit bigger than Cedar Rapids, so you get a little bit of those upgrades, a little bit more bigger city feel. But yeah, overall, I mean, Iowa is I would say, very country. I feel like a lot of people don't understand how country Iowa is, and they see obviously a lot of cornfields and stuff like that. But I would consider Iowa very rural in a lot of ways, a lot of small towns, and I know a lot of people say, "Oh my God, Iowa's like such a boring state to drive through," but Nebraska's worse. So let's just start there.
So what was your like go-to radio station in Cedar Rapids then growing up?
Yeah, so we had a radio station called Z102.9.
Okay.
That was probably the go-to growing up for sure. They would just play all the hits growing up and stuff like that. Yeah, definitely. I remember because I growing up, my family kind of lived out in the country, and we had a pretty long drive to where I went to school, and so growing up, I listened to a lot of radio with my mom. My mom was the one that always uh, drove. She would drop me off, and then she'd go to work after that. And so yeah, Z102.9. Shout out to Z102.9. Great radio station. I've listened to them for a while. I haven't been back home, Cedar Rapids, for a while. So, but yeah,
So you can't get that when you're in Des Moines then? You can't listen to them?
I'm not sure. I guess I don't necessarily listen to radio too much anymore. I'm kind of just like podcasts or like Spotify or stuff like that. But yeah, radio. I really don't listen too much radio anymore. But
It's so weird, like, because AM radio, that was like, what my parents listened to, And
yeah,
now, like, podcasts to me, that's kind of like the AM radio of
it,
like back in the day. Like, it's just long form, like talk.
right. I love podcasts. I
What are your
love.
favorites? Some of your favorites you listen to?
Yeah, so my overall favorite podcast right now, I'd probably say is Ed Milet. He's very spiritual, very entrepreneurial. He's a Christian as well. And I just really like the vibe that he sets. He's a lot of really great guests on as well. And he does a lot of different like motivational stuff too. It's kind of like a jack of all trades. In the business world, spiritual world, as a Christian, I think, um, it's something I really like to listen to. And just the whole business aspect too. And all the different guests he has, they're, really smart individuals. Like, for example, he had on like Deion Sanders, which was a great interview. If anybody would like to listen, that's one of my favorite interviews with him. But yeah, he has a lot of really cool guests. And yeah, I would say he's definitely like one of my favorite podcasts to listen to for sure.
So, biggest difference from Des Moines, other than like the size that you kind of feel like since you've been there compared to Cedar Rapids?
Yeah, you get more like a bigger city feel here, and there's a lot more activity, I think. You have like a minor league, like a AAA baseball team. You got a hockey team. You got a arena football team. You got all those different types of things. I mean, Cedar Rapids had minor league teams, but I guess they weren't really as big of a deal. Like, for example, in Des Moines, you have the Iowa Cubs, which a lot of Cubs players they move back and forth from AAA to
Sure.
Chicago. So I think the last game I was at, I got to see. I rarely go to Iowa Cubs games, but when I do go, I know I see some players that play for the Cubs, so it's really cool to see that. And obviously, you get more concerts. Got the Wells Fargo Arena here. We've had a lot of cool, really a lot of cool artists that have come through here in Des Moines, and I think the activity, the music scene is a lot better out here. You get a lot more concerts, stuff like that, sports, and yeah, I just think there's a lot of development out here in Des Moines as well. Like, especially the suburbs, and it's still pretty affordable out here compared to a lot of other places too.
Sure.
And I feel like it's really a slept on city in the U.S. I mean, obviously people think, oh my God, why would anybody live in Iowa? What's in Iowa? But at the end of the day, it's like where my family's at, and um, I guess I'm getting older now, so it's like, okay, do I really want to move somewhere else at 27? Or like be close to family and friends and stuff like that. So there's pros and cons to it all, I guess. So.
Do you have a lot of friends that came from Grand Rapids or from Cedar Rapids to Des Moines, or do you pretty much have to go home to see them?
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people that have lived in Cedar Rapids moved to Des Moines. That's kind of like the go-to like spot for a lot of people, I think.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, obviously there's still a good amount of people still in Cedar Rapids, but I feel like especially from my university in Northern Iowa, where I went to college,
Go
Like a
Panthers.
lot. Go Panthers, baby. Yeah, we'll see how they do this year, but in football and basketball. But yeah, got the shout out to the Iowa Hawks. I got the Iowa Cup
Right.
as well. So opening week, really excited for that. College football, I love college football, but yeah, yeah, I feel like a lot of people from my college definitely moved to Des Moines. I would say honestly, like 50% of my class like probably lives in Des Moines from
Wow.
UNI. It's pretty heavy. Maybe not that much, but that was probably exaggerated. Maybe like a third. I don't know. Something, a big amount, But
So, what is it like going to an Iowa football, like
um,
home football game? Like
oh yeah,
walk us through that from
I,
tailgate to like
football,
end of the game.
man, there's nothing like it. I think I would say Iowa City has to be like a top 10 uh, college town, honestly. Like, and growing up, I got to go to a lot of Iowa games because Cedar Rapids is like 30 minutes from Iowa City, so it's relatively close. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, Iowa City is. I mean, my younger days. I'm 27 now, but when I was, in my earlier 20s, that was like a place to go party, and the bar scene there is amazing. If as a young 20-year-old, it's pretty. It's still. I mean, it's still 27. It's still good, but
Right.
if I go now, it's kind of like looked down upon. At 27, it's like, oh, But the college football scene there, man, game day at Kinnick, the tailgates, oh, they're so fun. I mean, you can just walk around all day, find a different tailgate. You can find a tailgate right by the stadium, walk up different crowds. Everybody's welcoming. I actually have a really funny story about one tailgate that I went to, and it was so long ago, but it was the Iowa Nebraska game. I think it was probably 2017 maybe.
Which
And
to people who don't know about that rivalry, like talk
right.
about that rivalry real
Oh
quick,
yeah,
like
yeah,
before you talk that story. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah. And are you a Penn State fan, being from Pennsylvania, or
Yeah, like I'm not as huge of a college football fan as I am a pro football. I'm a Rams fan.
okay?
I'm a
Rams,
Phillies
okay,
fan.
yeah, yep,
I'm a
yep,
Sixers fan. And then I
okay,
guess I would say Penn State for football. But
right, right,
yeah,
okay, nice. No, I love that.
yeah,
But yeah, Iowa, Nebraska.
yeah.
When you see like maps of, sometimes on social media they have like the maps of what state hates this state the most. And Iowa definitely hates Nebraska the most. Nebraska hates Iowa the most. Um, I feel like a lot of people have a lot of that are not from the Midwest or from the area. They're like, oh, what's in Iowa? What's in Nebraska? It's like it's all cornfields or whatever. But there's a deep hatred from Iowa fans to Nebraska fans. I mean, it's even funnier because obviously Nebraska used to be in the Big 12, and so it used to be Iowa State versus Nebraska. But it was just funny when Nebraska moved to the Big Ten, and they were just god off. They've never been good in the Big Ten so far. I mean, they've done nothing pretty much, and yeah, it was just a deep. It's pretty much it's a new rivalry, Iowa and Nebraska. But in terms of like the states, yeah, I mean Iowans and Nebraskans. Yeah, I mean Nebraska talked shit about Iowans and vice versa, but it's pretty funny. But
So for somebody who has like a stake in the game, like
uh,
what do you feel about like the college realignment and how all of this has changed in the last like 5 years? For someone who doesn't really have like a fish in the game, like
yeah,
I just as a casual college football fan, I just want to see the best matchups. I don't want
oh
to see Alabama play the Sisters of Mercy.
yeah,
If
I
this
understand that.
realignment, if that realignment allows that to happen, then I'm all for it. But I totally understand if you're like a Nebraska or an Iowa, like alum or you're a
Yeah,
fan, and this realignment is taking away these rivalries and games that you either grew up with or you have like a rivalry with, like that seems a little like it's all about the money then, right?
absolutely, I agree. And I, you know, it's kind of crazy. Even this last year, looking at all the NIL stuff, it's really I guess it's getting older as well in my later 20s, looking at these kids making millions as, jumping right into college as a freshman.
No.
It just blows my mind. I feel like the love for the game as well as kind of the environment and the whole college football atmosphere. It's definitely not the same anymore. And especially when the kids are getting paid as much as they are, but it's all relative. I mean, image and likeness, obviously they're bringing those profits towards the university. So, I feel like they should get a cut from it, of course. But I think it definitely shifts college football for sure. Especially, I think the next thing in college football, you're gonna only see 5 teams win. You'll see the Ohio State, the Alabama, the Georgia. Those teams are gonna win every year. At the end of the day, it's gonna come down to who's gonna pay them the most, and I don't necessarily like that because college football always used to be about the love for the game, and that's what made college football so special to me. Um, Especially being from Iowa, you don't really have a pro team or anything like that. So, college football that's like especially University of Iowa, that's our thing in Iowa. So um, yeah, it's definitely gonna shift. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're just seeing the shift in pretty much everything. But that's a whole other story. But yeah, NIL. I mean, yeah, there's pros and cons to it all, I guess. But I don't know if I'm really a fan of it. But at the same time, it's going to be a really interesting season. Seeing Iowa play Washington is going to be pretty odd and very new and interesting, to say
Penn
the least.
State plays USC.
Yeah, that's USC as well. Like
Yeah.
USC joined the Big Ten is just kind of blows your mind. It's like
No.
USC, that's completely on a different coast. But yeah, I hope I'm gonna be honest. I hope all the teams that join the new Big Ten, I hope they don't do well. So we'll see.
I want to hear the tailgate story now.
Yeah, tailgate story. Right, right.
Yes.
So it was the Iowa and Nebraska game. It was, I don't know what year it was, 2017, something around then. And I don't know if you know who Adam Devine is. He's an actor. He's
Yeah.
on Picture Perfect,
Yeah.
Workaholics. Apparently I think he's from Nebraska or born and raised there or something. And he was there with his girlfriend. I don't remember. She's a famous actor as well. But they were walking around Kinnick, just tailgating with people. And I think I was with my friends or whatever. We were just walking around tailgating, bouncing around. And I saw him. I got a picture with him. And man, he was one of the coolest guys. He was just really fun. He's like, when you see an actor, you're like, okay, I wonder if they're like that in real life, And he's like one of those guys in real life. He's like the same person in real life. Like he was taking shots with people, like pull tailgates. They were asking him to take shots. He was all for it. And yeah, he was a really cool guy. I liked him a lot. But it was really cool to see him, and especially to see him walking around and just being normal with everybody else. I think it's really cool to see, someone that famous or high up just walking around, just being a normal dude. So it's really cool.
Yeah, well, it is fascinating because and I feel like again, getting back to the love of podcasts, like when you hear podcast interviews with celebrities and they tell about stories about their kids or about their wives or
Right.
I wonder what that is. Is it just a human part of it that we just want to feel familiar with everybody, or what is that, do you think?
Yeah, I think when you look at some celebrities, there's sometimes where you see them in character or whatever. I feel like a lot of people have characters at the end of the day, and I feel like some people are just not, who they say they are, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like authenticity is just, seeing someone their natural is just being themselves and, not having an ego or anything like that. I think, when you have the money, the fame, the power, I feel like all those things can really get to people's heads, and just seeing someone just being a normal dude and, just being down to earth and just being with a regular person, if you want to say it like that. I think that's really really cool, authentic. And I feel like people just really enjoy that.
So how do you treat social media and, trying to promote yourself and your brand?
Yeah. So right now, I mean, I'm really trying to. It's really at the starting stages of really trying to build something. Of course, I know where I would love to take it, but at the same time, I really want to like be authentic and fully be myself. Um, not at the same time, I feel like a lot of people in social media have to like cosplay a character or do something or say some things or do some things that they really aren't. And at the end of the day, for me, like I really just want to be myself, and I feel like that's kind of lacking in a lot of ways. Like I just feel, especially social media these days is just so like it's just so fake. I feel, obviously people only show the highlights of their lives, and for me, eventually, like in my music, especially when I really want to go there, I really want to, you know, I don't know, say be more vulnerable and just show a side. Like, hey, life
It's
happens.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
things happen. We
Mhm.
all go through things, and nobody's life is perfect at the end of the day. And I feel like we always compare and contrast to everyone else around us, and it's like at the end of the day, like all you got is your own self, and just be yourself, love yourself, and show love to the people around you. And I think that's really important. I feel like it's a lot. I feel like it's really lacking a lot. Um, like especially social media. It's. I mean, obviously, it's just really fake a lot of the times, and people don't show their real life, what they're really going through, and whatever it may be. And I mean, for me, like I have no problem, like being real with someone or letting people know, like things happen sometimes, and I think that's I don't know, just being authentic is I don't know. I feel like it's really because everybody tries to be something. I don't know. I just feel like people try to be something they're not a lot of ways, but I don't know.
When you start writing songs or if you've already written songs, like what have you found have been inspirations?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just talking about what I go through, real life things. Obviously that there's highs, there's lows. I think that's really what I want to get into is just the highs and the lows as well. Like there's highs and lows, everything in this life. Like nothing's gonna be perfect, and I feel like that's what really motivates me a lot, especially in music. You can show those highs, you can show those lows. Like it's just like a flow. I feel like it's like a wave. When I think about music, like yeah, it's just the whole aspect of all those things combined. I think that's I think that's really special.
Well, and it led you to the seven lyric series that you
Yes.
created. Congratulations, my friend.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I listened to most of them or watched most of them. So
Thank you.
give us the inspiration behind this, why we
Yeah.
did this, and give me the
Sure.
story. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, shout out to Jackie for coming up with this idea. So the seven lyrics. So seven is my lucky number. My birthday is 7/7/97. So it's really special to me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I love the number seven. I actually have it tatted on my 777 on my thigh. Got that. I got it in Amsterdam when I was over there. Kind of compulsive, but it was kind of cool, I guess. So, but yeah, the seven lyrics series is basically what the series is. I'll go guess the song in seven lyrics, and then I'll sing seven lyrics to a song, and then people will guess in the comments or whatever. But yeah, I guess the real the thing behind that were this number seven. I mean, yeah, it's just my lucky number 7/7/97. So yeah, just one of my favorite numbers, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be a really cool series. I think, especially on YouTube, I think it's doing pretty well. So I really want to see it do better on TikTok, but matter of time with everything. So really excited to see where it can go. So
So yeah, like how did you feel like, or not how did you feel like, but how did you promote it initially, or how did you kind of grassroots this to get to, because you have almost what, 8,000 subscribers, right?
8,000. I think I only have like 700 on
Or I'm
YouTube.
sorry, on Instagram you have like 8,000
Oh,
followers. Yeah, right?
about 800 on Instagram right now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
say 1,000.
Well, maybe I'll get there soon. Hey, let's manifest that.
That's
Thanks
right.
for thanks for saying that. Let's just say I'm at 8,000. Yeah, but
Yes.
um, but yeah, I really started fresh, new TikTok, and then on YouTube, I just kind of started posting, and especially on YouTube, it's been taking off pretty well. Like I think posted a video the other day, it had like over 10,000 views, like over 150 comments. So like that was pretty solid for just kind of starting this off within the last month or so. So I mean, I think it's gradually kind of taken off, and uh, we'll see what happens next, I guess. So really excited to see what happens, and I'm just gonna keep pushing it. And I think another thing, this goes back to like kind of the whole business like entrepreneur. I don't know if I talked about that earlier, but
No, no. Go ahead.
um, I don't know. I feel like at the end of the day, especially like a business or any entrepreneurial minded individual, I think at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of things is really just a numbers game. Like um, the more content you post, the more engagement you're gonna get, the more likes, followers, whatever it may be. And I feel like I've really shifted my mindset on that in the past couple of years, especially because like I would post something and be like, oh, I didn't do too well on that, get in my head about it or whatever. And now it's like, okay, like, algorithm, whatever it may be. But obviously quality is important as well. But I feel like especially in social media and content creation, I feel like quantity and putting out, obviously you want the quality to be great, but putting out those numbers, keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. I feel like eventually, if it's good quality, if it's good content, and it makes sense, I feel like it just kind of snowballs, and that's kind of where I look at it right now. But obviously, just in the starting stage right now. But hopefully within a matter of time and get to a point where I would like to see it. But
Well, so far so good, right?
yeah, I mean, I can't complain.
Yeah.
It's been doing very well, so I'm grateful. And that's another thing. I feel like I really have been trying to practice a lot more gratitude lately with a lot of things. So something that I feel like a lot of people struggle with, especially kind of going back to like social media and stuff. We always compare to other people and how great their lives are, or whatever it may be, and just being happy in the little things. I'm grateful for my friends, my family, just simple things like that can really just make your day. Just sit back and be appreciative for what you do have. So
It's a good foundation. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
So, when I say the term country pop, what does that what does that mean to you, or what does that represent?
Yeah, country pop. Yeah. So, um, yeah, that's a interesting question. You know, I, I I don't necessarily consider myself the most country artist, I think. And I really want to create something that I like, that I enjoy. I feel like when I look at and this is not me trying to talk negative on anyone or anything. I just feel like when I look at like a lot of country artists, it seems like a lot of rinse and repeat in a lot of ways, like a lot of the same lyrics, a lot of the same concepts, a lot of the same sounds, a lot of the same. And I don't know. I'm not really trying to be like a country artist, but of course I love country music. But I just want to be myself. I want to be myself. I want to make music that I like, and I feel like people will resonate with that because I feel like a lot of people that I know, they'll go from like Morgan Wallen to like to Drake in the same playlist. It's like that's kind of how people are these days. I feel like, especially my people my age and my generation, they're pretty open to like a lot of music and listen to a lot of different things. So I want to make something that kind of blends like the country, the pop, kind of just like my overall influences together. of course, country I feel like is going to be the main ingredient, but and I can already see like people why people wouldn't like that, which is fine. Like, oh, this guy's not country, he's not country enough, but they've probably never been to Iowa, so if you want to see country, come to Iowa. So
You know a thing or two about a tractor, my friend.
yeah,
Well, then the funny thing is too is if you think about the genres, right? Country music and rap music, right? And hip hop.
yes,
Like these days, I feel like they are more similar in lyric wise and beat wise and like, just like dress and like, over the top videos and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like two genres you would never think would associate, but like I
right.
feel like they're very similar. Could you
They
speak on
are.
that a little bit?
They really are. And if you look at, if you listen to rap, where did rap come from? It came from the South. It came from the country. Country music created rap music. I feel like at the end of the day, it all correlates together. When you really think about history and how things formulate, how things create, how things evolution in an aspect, if you want to say it like that. But um, yeah, I really do think like rap formulated from country music when you really do think about it. And if you look at like the lyrics and like what people talk about, a lot of times too, they're very similar. Obviously, rap, they want to be like, oh, I got my chains, whatever, and then country will be like, I got my cowboy boots, I got my,
Yeah.
it's like obviously they have their own lyrics and flows to each, but I feel like, I feel like you're definitely seeing a shift now when you see like Morgan Wallen with Moneybag Yo on a song, and just seeing those shifts. I mean, we're seeing a lot of, especially now, we're seeing a huge, like, I feel like a lot of people are jumping on the country wave, like really heavy right now. And
Old Posty, what do you think about his
yeah,
album?
Post Malone, this may be a controversial opinion, but I mean that's why we do these things. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I I love Post Malone. Don't get me wrong. I'm a day one Post Malone fan, way back to White Iverson, day one, way back. But I feel like the album was just very commercialized for me. Just kind of like I talked to Jackie about this. I think we had a conversation about this, and I was like, I don't know if you ever heard the term like NPC, like non-playable character. To me, it just felt like very orchestrated, very radio oriented, very. It didn't really feel like authentic compared to like his last previous albums. I don't know. That's just my opinion. Obviously, everybody can have their own opinions on it, but
Like how like sometimes Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon do that thing where they like just do one word to describe like a sentence. I think
okay.
I think like when Beyonce released her country album,
Oh
when
yeah.
Posty did his country album, the
Yep.
word that I like immediately think of is just unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like
No.
there are plenty of great country artists, and there's
Yeah.
plenty of great country artists that we don't know about that are out there. Like
Yeah.
give them a chance.
Yeah.
When you cross over like this, you're taking up radio space of other artists that could be on there that are
Yeah.
actually country artists.
Yeah.
I
Right.
just don't, it just seems to me like unnecessary.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you say that because I guess I used to be like a R&B artist before I kind of switched like this country vibe. So I guess yeah, I can definitely feel that for sure. But I guess for me, like the reason why I really wanted to get into country, like at the end of the day, like being from Iowa, it's like this like my grandma and grandpa, they had a farm northwest Iowa. That's where my mom's from. And I don't know. I just feel like it's really kind of like in my roots. Um,
Is there any famous country artists from Iowa?
hmm, I can't think of any really at the top of my head, to be honest.
Well, there you go, Mr. Lucas Parker. You are destined for greatness, my friend.
I hope so. That'd be really really nice.
Mom will be proud.
She would love it. She would love it.
So, so when we listen to music, are we headphones or like blast the speakers?
Oh man, it depends on the day. It really depends on the day.
Okay.
So if I'm at work, sometimes I'll have my AirPods in because I go to the office. And yeah, definitely like during the day and stuff like that, or like working out, definitely AirPods. But my preferable way of listening to music, definitely like speaker for sure. Like I love blasting it loud. I've always just loved cranking it up, just making it really loud. I've always loved cranking it really loud. But it depends on the vibe, depends on the whatever's going on. So yeah.
Now, are you a car guy? And like, did you have like a really nice
Uh,
speaker like system in your car growing up?
Uh, I wouldn't say I had the nicest car for a speaker, but I love like one of my favorite things is just driving in the car, especially like late night. I guess like growing up, I always had like a long drive from my school to home, so I would always there'd be a lot of mornings and nights where you know turn the music on and just blare it loud and yeah, I love driving the car and just playing loud. But sometimes there is days where like I'll be in the car and I will not play any music at all. Like I will just have silence,
Yep.
like complete silence. There's multiple. They're like, yeah, I think it was today even. I just like didn't play any music at all, just in my car, silence, just which I think is good too. Sometimes silence is also like another really good thing. I love silence sometimes too. I don't know, but depends on the vibe, I guess, but.
So, did you make those long trips then to Florida when we moved to Florida in the car, or did we always fly down?
Yeah, so the trips to Florida, so I originally fly down there, but I have done the drive many times. Do not suggest to anybody to do it. It is not fun. I'll tell you right
Not
now.
from
But
Iowa.
it is a long. It's like a day. Depends where you're going, I guess. But
Yeah.
it's a day. It's a day drive, like 24 hours around. It's not fun. But the one thing I would say that is cool about it is like going through all the states and stuff. All states you get to stop through and stuff like that. So I would say that's like one of the cool things about it. But besides that, the driving and it's not fun. But I've done it many times. Do not suggest doing it. Yeah, but
So, what made you then move to Tampa, Florida? Because Iowa to
yeah,
Florida, I mean, that seems like, from the outsider, like, wow, it's a pretty big
yeah,
departure,
oh
right?
yeah, yeah, right, right,
Like, was
yeah,
Wisconsin not available?
yeah, Wisconsin, yeah. Shout to Milwaukee for a second. Shout to Madison, Wisconsin as well. But yeah, I guess it was around like 2021, 2020, and I was kind of like going through a lot of things. I don't want to get too much into that, but yeah, I had a job opportunity down there, and my sister lived down there at the time, and her and her boyfriend at the time had an extra room. And I was like, all right, you know, I'm gonna move to Tampa, and it was probably one of the craziest experiences of my life for sure.
Any like recent, like care to share or?
Yeah, let's just say my sister lived with a very toxic individual.
Oh,
Boyfriend was very, yeah, he was just not good, and I'm happy that I came down there because I feel like if I didn't come down there, maybe they would still be together. Who knows? I feel like it took me to get her out of that situation. So I'm glad that like everything happens for a reason. And yeah, my sister is one of my best friends. So shout out to Tay. But yeah, yeah, it was pretty crazy point in my life for sure.
does she share musical tastes with you, or is her taste completely different?
Yeah, I would say we're pretty similar in terms of what we like and stuff. Little differences, but yeah, I feel like we share a lot of same interests for sure.
Yeah. Has she kind of helped you on this journey, or does she kind of let you do your thing?
yeah, she's really supportive of me and everything, which is really great. I think a lot of, especially trying to be consistent with all this and putting yourself out there can be really difficult at times. I feel like a lot. And yeah, she's been really supportive throughout it all, which is really nice. Just keep going, because I mean, there's days where, you know, you're just like, okay, what am I doing? Like, is this all worth it or whatever, But um, yeah, she's been really supportive through all this for sure. So yeah,
That's great. That's yeah, always nice when you have parents and or siblings that can be relied on for those times that you need them, you know?
sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So are we like when we are not content creating, are we a gamer at all? Are we computer, PC, Xbox, PS?
I used to be, but I'm really not anymore at all anymore. I want to get into that. I want to play a college football game, the new one, but I haven't even played that yet. But yeah,
So yeah, I mean, what do we do on our free time then? What do we like to do?
free time, man. I've been really busy trying to like content create and stuff like that. I try to work out, try to stay healthy and stuff. I'm trying to get back into running, but it's kind of uphill battle with that. Yeah, I try to lift and stuff. I try to work out at least 3 or 4 times a week. Hit the gym. Don't necessarily say I like enjoy it too much. It's kind of just like staying in shape and staying toned or whatever. But yeah, I love I love spending time with like my friends and family and stuff. Um, on the weekends and stuff. I just love spending time with people that I love the most. I think that's at the end of the day, I feel like it's just really important. Like just spend. Obviously people would say, oh, what's your hobbies or whatever. Like I just like doing different things and spending time with my favorite people. I guess just doing whatever.
Yeah.
Like I love going out and talking with people and just doing whatever. So
Any good comedy clubs in Des Moines?
there are some there's some. It's kind of funny. Someone told me I should get stand up, but that's another story. But yeah,
Okay.
I can feel like I could be decent at stand up, but I'd have to play it out a little bit. But um, yeah, there's some like stand up places here. So there's a couple of comedy places here in Des Moines. Yeah, we got a decent scene. I feel like.
Okay. Yeah, my buddies were in Florida last weekend. Speaking of Florida, they were doing some alligator hunting.
Oh wow.
And so they actually got a 4 foot alligator
Oh
and
nice.
brought it back to their Airbnb, but the place only had a crock pot.
Oh god. That's great. That's great. Oh, you got me there.
I
You got
got
me.
you.
That was nice.
So concerts that we've been to this year, my friend. What
Yes,
shows have we
yes.
seen?
So the two concerts that I can think of the top of my head, one of them was Chase Matthew and Austin Snow, which are like two of the country artists that I really like look up to a lot right now, especially Austin Snow. He is he's really inspired me a lot this year. Kind of like his style of music and the things he talks about. I've been really inspired by Austin Snell a lot. And Chase Matthew, he's been in the game for a while now, but he's also a big inspiration to me as well, which is really cool to see them. And then another artist was Parker McCollum. He was at the Wells Fargo Arena, which that was an interesting night. I don't know if I want to get into that night. That was pretty crazy, but
Fair
let's
enough.
just say, yeah, let's just say there was an altercation after the concert, which was really unexpected. Yeah, but
It's a good thing you work out.
yeah, I guess. I guess a shout out to my buddy Cam. Actually, he did most of the work,
Oh boy.
but yeah, I'm not much of a fighter like that. But these drunk guys, we were waiting for our friends by the bathroom, and there's like this guy that like there was two other guys that had an altercation or whatever, and like one of them like landed on my friend. We were both like, "What in the world?" And they started coming at us, and we were like just sitting there, like we weren't like drunk by any means. We were just chilling, waiting for our friends, ready to leave because concert was over, or whatever. And then these guys just started like coming at us, and we were just like, "What in the world?" And yeah, my buddy cleared house though. I'll tell you that. Shout out to Cam if he's listening. He cleared house. Even the cop said that.
Shout out to his nickname will forever be House Cleaner.
Yeah. Oh, he's got many nicknames, but we'll add that one to the list.
So what do we have planned then for the rest of the year? From now until the end of the year. What do we got? What can
Yeah.
the audience expect? Yeah.
So right now, I'm really focused on just like kind of building this brand and getting my name out there because I feel like I don't really have like a base like within my name, and I think just like getting that name out there, building that brand, especially the 7 lyrics, I think like could really take off and be something really special. So I think just kind of building that brand, and eventually I would love to obviously get my own music out there, but I feel like if I don't have like a actual base put out there, it's just kind of putting it's like an empty void if you want to say it like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just really trying to build like my social media accounts, trying to post like different types of content, and building that base. I think that's really important before I can post my own music and stuff like that. So I think that's definitely first things first, and then eventually, of course, I think by 25, it's kind of my goal is to post like my own music and stuff like that. So
It seems like 2025 is going to be a big year for a lot of bands and artists. I don't know.
apparently, I bet, yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know if you're an Oasis fan, but they just announced like they're reuniting, which is
really,
a huge
wow, that's
deal.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
huge. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. So,
Wow.
well, my friend, it is it. Best of luck to you. I
Thank you
think
so much.
it's awesome what you're doing. But I'm going to leave you. I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I'm going to play the game and see if you can guess the lyric or
Oh
the
God.
song.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
you
Get me ready
ready?
to go. Yeah.
All right. Slowly walking down the hall, faster than
Slowly, dog, walking down the hall faster than I'm drawing a blank.
Champagne Supernova by
Okay.
Oasis.
Oasis. Oasis. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
there you go. You can use that.
Nice. Maybe I will. Hey, we'll test it out, right?
Well, again, best of luck, my friend. What you're doing? You got plans for the weekend then, or just laying low?
This weekend, college football. That's the plan. That's
Yeah.
all I know. So
I was playing who?
I was playing. Who are they playing? Arkansas State or someone like that. Maybe I think about Iowa State.
Oh,
Yeah, they're playing like some not too good of a team, but
okay.
it's week ones are just really fluky. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And is that a night game then, or is it a afternoon game?
I think it's a day game. Yeah,
Day game. Okay, cool. Sweet.
really. I'm just excited to get college football going. So
Yeah, man. Go
Yeah.
Hawkeyes, brother.
go Hawks, go Hawks! I got this cup going. So go Hawks. Yep.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our social media pages. That helps us. That helps the artists and bands like Lucas over here. Also, check out our sponsor, RAR Outfitters, RAWR, outfitters.com. Don't just wear, RAR. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Dogg. You've been great. This is the Music Lab Podcast.